Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? The Witch is hands down one of my favorite movies on the subject of witchcraft. There is so much to it, I'll certainly need to revisit it at a later date. The film conveys a classic New England folktale in what is perhaps the most beautiful and visually appealing way, perfectly capturing the aesthetic power of the landscape and season that has redefined witchcraft in America, bringing together imagery and characteristics from centuries of witch lore and hysteria. The film illustrates the psychological breakdown that was likely occurring in the minds of early American settlers and Europeans throughout the 1600s. The VVITCH is a modern interpretation of the fears and paranoia latent in the human mind, showing how the figure of a witch has manifested itself deep in the woods of the psyche of humanity. Whether or not the witch is ever there is debatable, but the actions taken to prevent and further marginalize her in their minds only give her power and strength. Through the deconstruction of the main character Thomasin, we see the journey of a young girl into adulthood, challenging the societal norms of the time and learning how to express her burgeoning sexuality, long hair, and free will. Thomasin perfectly illustrates how witchcraft and the figure of a witch is used to depict one's entrance into adulthood. Anya Taylor-Joy adds an unparalleled dimension to this character, yielding what is perhaps one of my most recent favorite witches. Through the actions of her and her family, Thomasin becomes what they feared most, another solitary female deep in the woods. The movie as a whole conveys dozens of classic witch legends, my favorite of course being the Dark Lord himself, Black Phillip. The sabbatical goat has appeared alongside of witches for centuries, and is an archetype himself that would require extensive explication in his own right. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I strongly encourage it become a staple in your witchy movie list. Track the slow and steady progression of women's hair throughout the film. The journey from tight bonnets to eventual wild tresses is integral in understanding the constraints and freedoms that give rise to the witch.